last night, Kansas City, Buffalo. Obviously, Kansas City won, going away 38-24. And I want to start here. We talked about it on Friday, how Pro Football Talk had reported that, some people around the league were thinking that Josh Allen had actually caught Patrick Mahomes and that Mahomes, wasn't head and shoulders above Allen or some of these other stud quarterbacks. And then ESPN took it they put a face to it. They did a graphic before the game where they compared the Bills and the Chiefs on the head coach, the offense, the number one wide receiver. So that would have been Stephon Diggs against against Tyreek Hill, or unless you think it's Travis Kelce, and then quarterback. And they gave the Chiefs the head coach and the defensive advantages, but they gave the Bills the wide receiver, which is hard to argue with Diggs, and also the quarterback. So they said that Josh Allen, they would take him, and he's got the advantage over Pat Mahomes. Now, maybe they were, I'm sure now they'll say they were wondering what he would be like coming off the concussion or whatever, and maybe he's got turf toe. But Mahomes didn't take it too kindly. He actually retweeted somebody who tweeted about it, and he had the yawning emoji after the game. So what are your thoughts on, what you saw Sunday in that game? Because, Rob, I don't even think it wasn't really even competitive. Like, when they were
it
down.
Was 9-0 to start the game.
Right. But when Buffalo had the 9-0 lead, because they got the field goal in their first possession, and then the Chiefs fumbled on the punt. So they got the ball, right there at the 2-3 yard line, and they scored. So they were up 9-0. I kid you not, and this is the God's honest truth. There was not a fiber of my being that thought Buffalo was going to win that game. Even with them up 9-0, because the way you watch Kansas City move the football, they were scoring so easily. But that's my thoughts in a nutshell. But what were your thoughts?
I understand why they would put Josh Allen just the way he had been playing. Mahomes is fine. I mean, he had I guess when you go back to his second year, his first year as a starter, if you're looking for that Pat Mahomes, we haven't seen that guy. So
really?
I think sometimes when you start off like that, people are expecting those kind of numbers. And you could still play well, but it doesn't feel the same. And I think that's where Mahomes is right now. And then, of course, coming off the injury, not really knowing where he would be. And I think that's why they gave the edge to Josh Allen. And you saw it, it's not – what ESPN put up is not unique or, like, different from what other people. We saw Then we see the Football Focus, right? I think he was behind Josh Allen in that.
Right. They were all prisoners of the moment.
Right.
All of them.
Well, I'm just saying. So those were all things that were there. So I'm not totally surprised that's where they gave the Bills an advantage just from the quarterback, and maybe they just it was a coin flip, and they just decided. You don't want to be where everything's Kansas City and Buffalo has nothing, yet they've won all these games. You know what I mean? They're in the AFC Championship. And Josh Allen has had a breakout year. It ain't a Pat Mahomes year.
There's only one explanation, Rob. They did it because they thought Allen was better at this point.
No, I'm just talking about
maybe they wanted to even it out, be nice. You know that ain't the case.
I'm talking about going into it. And where how he's played compared to Mahomes. I mean, it's different. Mahomes only had one playoff game. I know he was playing fine before he got hurt. Allen's been a little more dynamic. I don't know. I just think that it's closer than maybe people want to think. You got to remember, Chris, you're looking at it at his whole career, and they're just talking about where he is right now. And I think that's what you can't get over. Mahomes has won an MVP, he's won a Super Bowl. So you look at him and say, well, there's no way you can be compared to him, but they're looking at the numbers of recent. And I think if you look at the numbers of recent, that's why they say that Allen has caught up and is playing, quote unquote, on par with Patrick Mahomes.
Well, and to your point, they said he was playing better than Patrick Mahomes. But here's the thing, Rob. It's like I said a few weeks ago, because this notion that Mahomes did not have a terrific season. Patrick Mahomes, including playoffs, has won 25 of his last 26 games. 25 of the last 26 games he plays, and people are acting like, you just said it, well, he's not that Pat Mahomes. No, he's better. We talk about it all the time. Numbers aren't everything. So he threw for more yards and more touchdowns his first year. Teams adjust, and as they've adjusted, he's still killing them. I mean, he threw for more touchdowns than Josh Allen in one fewer game. He threw for more yards, I believe, than Josh Allen. Certainly more yards per game by a mile. So, and they won every game except one that he started. But his standard is so high now that instead of talking about, wow, they found a way to win in all of those games. Wow, he made the game-winning drive, or he led them, to that game-winning touchdown. We're saying they only won by 8. They only won by 6, but they won. They won. We're expecting them to win every game by 20 or 25 points, or the dude ain't balling. They looked yesterday, and there's been people talking about how they flipped the switch. And, they coasted through the regular season. I think Colin Cowherd was saying this on his show today. They coasted through the regular season kind of like, the LeBron or the Golden State Warriors sometimes coasted through the regular season and then turned it on in the playoffs. I don't think they coasted. I don't know that you can do that in the NFL. But I think that they tried out a lot of stuff. I think they were very confident that they wouldn't or couldn't lose. And now with the playoffs, if you lose, you go home, I think they have turned it up a notch, as many of the great teams do turn it up a notch in the playoffs. But yesterday, Rob, they just looked, Buffalo, to me, and they're a very good team, they didn't look like they were in the same class to me. Now, maybe you disagree. To me, they didn't look like they were in the same class as Kansas City. Kansas City marched up and down the field.
The Chiefs or Patrick Mahomes as much as you do.
People what?
I don't think they're misreading Patrick Mahomes or they're grading him out as something different, because it's just way too many different people around football. That didn't come from one source. So I have
Pro
pushback.
Football Talk was, I think, 4 people.
All right, but there was that. ESPN did it, and somebody else did, because you came in the other day complaining about something else you read.
They can be wrong.
What?
Everybody picked the Packers to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I should say.
But that's what I'm saying is that I don't think that's so far-fetched, or the idea that he's not as dynamic, even though we saw games too, Chris. You're right.
I don't know that anybody said that other than you.
Well, but they've won games, but we saw the game in Atlanta against a really bad Atlanta team, if you remember that, near the end of the year. They won 17. I'm just giving you an example. You don't have to agree. I'm sorry that you have to agree with everything I say. I'm just giving you an example of a situation I thought it was lackluster play against a really bad team.
Okay. But yesterday they showed, and Pat Mahomes.
No, but this was before the game, Chris. They were talking about it before the game. Yes, he played well yesterday. The Chiefs played well, but this was pre-game. This wasn't after the game was over and they still said Josh Allen was better than him. Then I think you would have a case.
Pat Mahomes now 4-1 when trailing by 2 or more scores in the playoffs. they've had, Rob, 15 drives with Mahomes on the field in the playoffs. And this is to underscore the point I'm saying. Like, they look like they're on a different level. And I think they're going to beat Tampa Bay up. Now, I hope it's a good game. I think it'll be a good game, but I think Kansas City's going to win. But he's had 15 playoff drives. They've scored on, it's essentially only one of them did they not score on, or did they not have a chance of going. One of them they punted. Two of them they knelt down, obviously the end of the game. And one of them they missed the field goal. 4 they made field goals. 7 of them were touchdowns. So basically, of the 13 drives that they've had where they tried to score, they've scored on 11 of them. Think about that. I mean, this is 2 weeks straight. They are not punting the football. Like, have you seen something like this in the NFL? People are saying they haven't seen anything like it.
I've seen it in the regular season, not so much the playoffs.
Right.
I've seen a number of teams do it in the regular season. It's harder to do in the postseason because you're playing the best of the best. So no, not often. Not off the top of my head, to be honest.
If he wins this Super Bowl, what will your thoughts be about him?
I don't know yet. I'd have to watch it and think about how it was done, what happened, how he played, the whole 9 yards.
So just winning it won't be enough.
That's your opinion.
That's your opinion. I didn't give an opinion. I asked.
Yes, you did.
I'm asking.
You already decided that.
I said it as a question. So
you decided
winning it won't be enough.
You decided that. I've already made up my mind. So
no,
I guess
I'm
that's
asking you, Rob.
What do you mean? It won't be enough? What does that mean? I don't know.
Maybe I should have. I said it as a question. I didn't ask it like, will winning the Super Bowl be enough? But I thought my tone of voice showed that. I'm asking you, if he just wins the Super Bowl,
I have no
will
idea.
That be enough?
I have no idea.
Well, why do you ask me? Why'd you ask me on Friday if they lose, will my narrative about him change?
I don't know. Why did you ask me about if Aaron Rodgers lost to the who they played a week before? You asked the same question.
Because I asked because I wanted an answer, and I have no problem projecting. I had no problem answering
You're better at that
Pat
than me.
Mahomes.
I'm not that good at projecting. You're better at that.
Well, then why didn't? So you're asking me. Look, I'll answer whatever you ask, but I'm just saying it's odd that I could ask you that, but you act like I'm tripping. But I asked you the same thing. And,
I didn't say you were tripping.
Bugging.
I don't know what you want me to answer. I don't know is what I'm saying. I need to see
this dude will
Super
have won
Bowl.
2 Super Bowls in his first 3 years as a starter.
That would be tremendous, no matter what.
Say?
Okay, there you go. He'd be the best quarterback who ever played football.